And welcome to the next episode of Irish Iron. Today's guest, I have IFBB Professional bodybuilder Darren Farrell. Darren does not live in Ireland. He lives abroad in, would I be saying wrong, Dubai?
Yeah, Dubai.
Deadly man, deadly man. So, well, I remember the first time I saw the first time I saw yourself was um, I didn't know who you were until you turned professional. You kept you were very much, you were like, don't take that as a knock or anything. That's very much like you came out, you turned professional. And then I saw you at the muscle contest and I was like, okay, yeah, he's a big guy. He's carrying a lot of weight. But just to start from the very start, you're from Cork, are you? Or
Yeah.
deadly
So,
man. Yeah.
born and bred in Cork, brought up kind of there, between there and Dublin. I spent a lot of time in Dublin as well in my younger years.
Right. And what do you think? Like you started. What was your first experience? Like, what got you into the gym? What got you into bodybuilding? What was the start there?
Okay. So I was brought up in playing sports. So I played hockey and football from a very young age because both my parents were professional athletes.
Okay. What did they do?
My dad was a professional footballer. My mum played hockey for Ireland.
Deadly.
So sport was just brought. Like, I was brought up to play sport. So I played hockey at the highest level for Ireland, and then I played rugby. I took up rugby in school and played provincial stuff. Played up quite to a high level, and it was injuries when I hit the age of 22, 23. That's when I first discovered the gym. So I didn't train. I didn't do anything like that until
Okay.
I was about 23.
Okay. So
And
you pretty much bypassed like junior bodybuilding entirely. You got into it fairly late.
yeah, so my first ever show, I was too old for. I was 23, but I was too old to do the junior class.
Okay.
So that was my first ever show. I did. It was like Mr. Body Ireland, I think it was. It was run by NABA. It was in Limerick, and
I remember there was only one of those. They stopped doing that after the 1 year. It was
yeah,
like, yeah, it was like the spring classic.
yeah, you'll know, like Declan Clear.
Yeah, I know him well.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there. There was a guy, Ross Lane, and
Okay.
then it was actually. I don't know. Do you remember Brendan Sheehan? He's actually an actor now.
Yeah, man. I remember him. He was backstage when I first did my shows. He was the guy doing the tans and everything. He's lovely lad, lovely lad. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that was my first ever show. Yeah, so I got into it really late, and it was actually just from rehabbing from bad injuries, and I just fell in love with it then.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Average man. So but when you got started into it, like Cork and Dublin, they're fairly good for bodybuilding. I mean, there's a ton of gyms in both areas. Did you have anyone any mentors or anything to kind of guide
Yeah,
you?
so
So,
I did that show, that first show, that Mr. Body Ireland show, just off a whim, like myself. Just didn't have a coach, nothing. Didn't even know how to pose or anything. And I went down there, and it was actually a guy, Niall Quinlivan,
yeah.
saw me, and he was from Cork, and he sent me a message a few days later and said, listen, come meet me in Dennehy's, and I want to chat with you. And he helped me out for about a year or so, and just kind of showed me how to do things right and train properly. So I trained because he at the time was helping Ross Lane.
Okay.
He was Ross Lane's coach, and so me and Ross became friends. We trained, and that was kind of my introduction to bodybuilding, was him.
Deadly man, deadly man. Like I found now, when I got started into it, I was fairly lucky. I mean, I was only 18. Um, but when I did it, there was 20 for an amateur show in Ireland. I mean, there was 24 people in the class in under 19, under 21s back then it was. So
Yeah.
but back then, what category did you hop into first? Was it like novice or first timers or something, or?
No, I went straight. So I did that Mr. Body Ireland, which was like I don't know what that class was, but I went on then a couple, I think maybe 2 months later, and I did Mr. Cork,
Deadly.
and I won the under 75 kilo class.
Okay.
So that
Were
was
you the
my
same?
first ever.
Were you the same height as you are now back then?
Yeah, yeah, I was. I was skin and
'Cause-
bone, but I was peeled for it.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, like usually the guys under 70s are like they'd be around 5'6" under easily, but conditioning wins shows. I mean
Yeah,
that's today.
that was it. I was just in condition. There was nothing. I didn't have muscle, but I was in condition. And from then on, I think that was the only time I ever competed in an unders category. From then on, I went into classic.
Cool,
So I did classic bodybuilding my next couple of shows.
cool. Was that RBBF or was that like
Yes,
NABA?
I did RIBBF and NABA, but I
Yeah.
only did like 2 more shows in Ireland.
Okay.
And then I moved to the UK and I competed in the UK BFF
Yeah.
a few times in classic, went to the British finals and stuff. And then I outgrew the weight limit for that class.
Yeah. No, going back to moving to the UK, was that just a job opportunity that came up, or was it just get out of the country? Different viewpoint, I suppose.
So it was after I at the time I'd been taken on by BSN supplements,
Yeah.
and they took me over to Body Power, and I actually met my now wife there that year, and just I had a couple of opportunities over there for work wise. I was doing online nutrition, but I was working with someone else who was based there as well.
Yeah.
And between meeting Becky and him, I was like, I'm just going to move to London. Yeah, so I moved over. I think I competed in the October show, the NAB October show, and about 2 weeks later, I moved out to the UK.
Deadly, man. No, but the UK scene is like I've gone twice, and to be honest with you, before the quarantine came in, I was half considering moving over there myself. Just the scene is so much more. It's huge. It's huge. Like I remember, like they'd have teams going to shows, and you had qualifiers for the UK BFF. So it wasn't just like over here. You had to um win your qualifier, get top two or whatever it is, and then you go to the finals. But
Yeah,
what was it like competing over there as an Irishman? Because I remember I was told when I was going over, Owen, you want to be so good that they can't deny you a win because they will always have that little bit of bias if you're next. But like I didn't win anyway. But what was it like going over there and competing? It's a different environment, different people. You know.
it was great. I got great exposure to like what the industry was really like, and to see like guys at the top level, like the very top, like there was you be in gyms and like people like Luxando be around and stuff like that. James Hollingshead, so you kind of got to see that next level of the industry, which kind of I don't think I had ever considered being a pro bodybuilder ever. And then when you see pro bodybuilders and it's like, oh, okay, so you can turn pro from this. But even at that in the UK, I never kind of thought about it. But it was just to see that industry at the next level was like, wow. And like the standard was crazy. Like I remember going into my first year competing there in the UK BFF, and I was like, oh, if I can make it, if I can like qualify for the British finals, I'll be happy. That was an achievement. And I went on and I did the Birmingham show, and I came second in the Birmingham show, which qualified me for the British finals that year. And that was like I was made up. That was wow, because the standard was back then. The British final standard was crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, what year was
the first time? Like people like Rob Taylor, the muscle unit was there. He was there as an intermediate. Jamie Jahal was at that one. Who else? I think you had like Luke Sando was there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, deadly. Was this 2016 or 2015 then? This must have been
2015, I think it was. Yeah, 2015.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I know I'd always keep up to date. Like I'd follow the UK scene fairly well, just due to who I'd know in it.
Yeah.
And no, that's crazy, man. So it's like you got to see like what people don't realize, especially in Ireland, is like seeing a pro in the flesh, a good pro in the flesh, is something else. I mean, we didn't get that up until like a couple of years ago. We really didn't.
No, no. Like this is just another level. It's like they were always like, it was like almost like they were like that, like a Hollywood star. Like you kind of see, you imagine like the pro bodybuilders is like that. They're just so unachievable, and not like you never see. But coming in contact with them and seeing the standard at that next level, which the UKBFF back then, like in 2015, standard was crazy. Like I'm just, now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking that show there must have been 7 or 8 guys now who are top level pros.
Yeah.
Like Harry Harris was there.
Yeah.
I remember he actually competed in the under 90 intermediate class there, not even the open class. Like he's pro now as well. He turned pro as open this year. So Rob Taylor was there. Like all these guys now are top level pros.
Yeah. I've seen all those guys in the flesh, bar Harry Harris, man. I saw Jamie Johal over at the PCA finals, and he's a unit. I mean, but I mean, what is that? Is that when you got in touch with Jamie the Rego? Is that where you met him? Or
no, I think we met once or twice in the UK. When he used to come like to London, he often used to come train. I used to train in what is now Graftism Gym, because I lived right beside it. It was Zone Gym then. And he used to come train there. My training partner, Ben, used to know him a little bit. So like I used to see him. But no, we knew of each other, never really talked. We didn't really come in contact until I was out here. Yeah. And he came out on holidays and dropped me a message to ask him information about out here.
Okay. So, I mean, before you worked with him, did you do your own preps or did you have somebody helping out?
So when I did the British, I was actually coached by Rob Whitfield, LRF.
Okay.
You know, Team LRF, he's like probably the most successful UK coach at the moment. Yeah. So I was one of his first ever clients. Me, Ben, my wife, and Rob's then girlfriend at the time, Mel.
Deadly, man.
I think we were more people he coached.
Savage. No, that's deadly, man. Because I remember, like, if I had to pick a coach, to be honest, I mean, the English coaches are great just because I think they work with a lot more diversity. I mean, the Irish gene pool is quite small, so it's like when you get somebody who's a bit of like there's something different. A lot of guys wouldn't be able to cope with that. I mean, how did you find? Did you leave him just because of how long were you working with him?
I worked with Rob just for that year. I just, do you know what? I didn't stop working with him because he was a bad coach, and I stopped working with him because I stopped being into it. I stopped competing. I didn't compete then for 2 years or so. Like I think that's, if I'm being honest, that's probably when I started going through my sort of bad times mentally, my mental health and stuff.
No, like that's actually, now that's something I'd love to delve into, man, because I did the same thing. I competed when I was 18, 19, same year. And then I stepped away for, oh God, I think it was like 4 years. And then I came back. But I mean, I did feel now that like mental health and bodybuilding and the gym, they all connect. I mean, like I've always thought, like going and training, it can combat it to a certain. That's all right. All right, guys. So I apologize for the break in audio there. My internet went. Darren being in Dubai has to do VPNs and all that crack. So we'll get through it. We'll get through it. But no, look, that happens to me more often than not, man. The broadband we have I'm from Wicklow, so it's like there's nothing out here in terms of internet. It's like no man's land really, but it's all good. With that being said, man, so we'll get back on top of topic. So we were, what was it? You were.
You just asked about not working with Rob anymore and what made me leave him.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think just life in general. I think like looking back, obviously, I think that's probably when I started suffering from depression and stuff. On reflection on it, but life and stuff just got in a way, and I was still training, but not really.
You weren't bodybuilding.
No. I was kind of floating between like what I wanted to do and what I was going to do, work and stuff, everything like that. So probably wasn't until I moved out to Dubai that I started getting my stuff together again.
Yeah, what made you want to move to Dubai? Was it just a joint agreement between the two of you, or was it like just a better environment? Or
Um, so my wife Becky had been working in education, but like not as a teacher. She'd been working for a corporate organization where she used to teach teachers on how to teach the English language, like teach English to kids and to run
I
their
guess,
school correctly.
yeah,
But she was head of like the international part of it as well. So she used to go to like where countries where they had big expat communities and there was these big international schools. So she used to do it there. So obviously she'd been to places like China and Malaysia and stuff like that, and had all been offered jobs and stuff in these. And like we just like we had a conversation one day, and we were like, oh, I don't know, there's nothing really here for us anymore in Watford. It's like we're not really making a living. You know, we're earning decent money, but not making a living,
yeah,
and there's nothing here for us. So let's try something new. And we just spoke to someone, and Dubai just came up, and we were just like, you know what, screw it, we'll go. So I think that was in about June. In July, we were due to get married in Greece, so we packed up our house, put stuff on shipping to Dubai, went out to Greece for the month of July, came back to England for like 2 days in August, then moved to Dubai.
that's crazy. I mean, that's crazy because like it's such a different culture to what we have over in the West. Anyway, I mean, did you in Dubai now? What would you say was the biggest change? Would you say it was just like what's it like training over there? What's it like bodybuilding? Um,
It's changed since we got here. So like when we first came out here, it wasn't as popular here for like the UK culture. You know, like now there's loads of fitness people moving here from the UK. Like I'm getting messages daily from like people who are big in fitness in UK and stuff. We're like, oh, I'm thinking of moving to Dubai. We were probably for like two of the first people out of this kind of group out here. So when we moved here, we were very much on our own, kind of had to find our own way, you know. So like people are coming out now will come out and they'll have like us, they'll have like Jamie and things like that. People to so it wasn't like I don't think bodybuilding was massive here then
yeah,
when we first moved here. But now it certainly is a different. It's
yeah,
the only way to describe it like being a pro bodybuilder out here is like imagine being a Leinster rugby player. You know, you're not like a professional footballer like at that level where you're getting paid millions and you're, you know, but you're treated with a bit more respect and people know who you are.
savage. Because like over here, nobody gives a shit. Like unless you're involved in, and the irony being, um, if you go up to the lay person and you say, uh, I'm going to the Mr. Universe or something like that, they would know what that is before I'm an IFBB pro. No one in the general populace seems to know. But
Yeah.
everybody that I've talked to from like the Middle East, like I have a good few friends from Iran, Iraq, like over there, it's like the general populace, like bodybuilding is definitely it's a mainstream thing over there.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Like it's even like the case like when we come into the airport in Dubai, like they'll recognize us, you know, help you. Like Becky was there waiting for me one time, and one guy went and got her a car and helped her get her bags and stuff, and you know,
That's
but
that's so
it's
good.
definitely different. It was a shock. I came back home at Christmas,
Yeah,
and I remember one day we went into the shop near my house, and I was in like I think we were on our way to go train, so I was like in a like a sleeveless t-shirt and shorts,
yeah.
and this woman just looked me up and down like I was a piece of shit. And I looked at Becky, and she saw it as well, and we were just like you know what, like over here you're looked at like you're dirt, like it's frowned upon for being like a big pro bodybuilder or whatever, looking the way I look.
Yeah,
Whereas over here, if I walk down by the beach, I get stopped for photos.
yeah, yeah. No, that's mental. I mean, like, it's definitely like what did your family think about it? I mean, because it's like if I was to say, like, I have said this to my family, I've said the end goal is to become a professional, and they're like, can you make money from it? And I'm like, you have to, you know, you can make money from it, but it's a different scene to the way it was 20 years ago. But
Yeah.
what did your whole like circle think when you said, I want to be a professional bodybuilder? Was
So
it
I never set out with the goal of being a professional. I never said to my family I wanted to be a pro bodybuilder.
yeah,
I just wanted to be into fitness, and I was a coach, and I loved training, and I liked bodybuilding. They didn't really get it at first. I can think my parents were always like a bit like, they were disappointed that I gave up playing sport because they were so back into that. But they, at the same time, they respected the level of commitment I put into it. And, you know, they support it now 100%. You know, they've seen how far I've come, what I've done, you know, how I've built my business around it, you know. Like, just going back to that point, you won't really ever make money from bodybuilding,
no.
but you can make money from what you do with bodybuilding, you know.
Yeah,
The
no, absolutely.
prize money and stuff is never going to earn you a living, but
Oh, no, no,
you
no,
can
no.
certainly
Like,
make money in other avenues through it, you know.
yeah. I mean, I think like when I see yourself, I see that you've taken full advantage of the social media side of things, which is great because like a lot of the bodybuilders I'd be friendly with, and like a lot of them over here, they don't use it. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I get that some people think, you know, it's not hardcore, it's not, you know, it's diluting the sport. But then on the other end of the spectrum, it gives you this whole new avenue to market yourself and earn yourself a bit of sponsorship or earn yourself a bit of reputation. Like, when did you say, did you start off as an online coach, or did you branch off?
Yeah, I was coaching long before I was a bodybuilder.
Cool.
You know, I started coaching when I was 24.
Deadly.
You know, I'm 31 now. I started coaching then. So because I was like more of like, I was into like general fitness and health and, you know, performance, obviously coming from a sports background. So I coached, like, the majority of people I still work with are general pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of comp prep now, and I've got some very good guys for this year. And obviously, being who I am and stuff, I get a lot of comp prep, and I want to do a lot of comp prep, but I still get a lot of general population because I've always worked with general population.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I think the general pop will tend to stick with you. Like, I mean, they always like, it's not easier to coach them per se, but they're satisfied with um, generalized progress. Where somebody, if you're doing a comp prep and they don't place well, like, I mean, you're the one in the firing line, you know, no matter.
yeah.
So it's like, have you?
You gotta remember that, you know, competitions are there for part of the year,
Yeah,
and it's a very small market, whereas general population is a huge market. And going back to what you say about bodybuilders not taking advantage of social media, you know, it's a revenue stream that's there. And the way you got to look at it, like, if you want to be a top level bodybuilder, you need to have a lifestyle that allows you to train and to eat and to sleep. So working a 9 to 5 job is not going to be, you know, optimal to be a professional bodybuilder. Like, I get it from, like, I won't name names, but there's a couple of guys who are top level bodybuilders in Ireland are always messaging me about, like, oh man, you're living the dream and stuff. Because I put in work to create a lifestyle for myself
yeah,
where I'm a pro bodybuilder. I get up, I do cardio, I eat, I train, I eat, I train, I eat, and then I sleep. You know.
yeah. But you took a risk to get to where you are. You didn't
Oh,
just.
don't get me wrong, man. I fucking endured some serious, like, hard times money wise. You know, getting to where I am now, and I'm not saying like I'm balling it or anything, but I'm
You're
doing
comfortable.
okay, and I'm continuing. But like, I'm not sitting on my laurels. I continue to push and to do as much work as I can, and use my time to build a business. Because at the end of the day, I'm 31 now. I'm going, how long, much longer am I going to be a bodybuilder? Maybe nine years at best,
Yeah.
and need
It
to
also
build
it also
more than bodybuilding.
like, I mean, it depends as well because you started off fairly young or fairly, you didn't start off bodybuilding until your 20s anyway. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it past you going on a bit further than, I mean, you have certain guys and they'd be competing in their 40s,
Oh yeah,
you know,
definitely. I'm still fresh. Like I think I've made my. I don't even consider my bodybuilding career started until like 2 years ago. That's when I started really. Like was the year before turning pro in New Zealand. Like working with Jamie, that's when I started bodybuilding.
yeah.
And
What
that's when I started progressing.
like Jamie is he's a fairly young coach as well, but his knowledge definitely is light years ahead of where, light years ahead. So I mean, I would look at him and I go like, okay, he's only a year older than me, and I'm like, that's motivating, It's like, and then like I would think you would probably like you'd be the one client I'd be of his anyway that I'd follow the progress of. I wouldn't know a huge amount of the guys he works with, but how has working with Jamie been for you? I mean, like, has it been fairly good? Like,
Yeah, like it's not like I haven't like learned. Like, it's nothing crazy. There's no like magic about it.
yeah,
The thing that Jamie has instilled in me is like this belief and this work ethic, and focusing myself on doing what needs to be done. It's just work,
yeah.
it's very basics done right and done consistently, and
A
it's
lot of monotony, man.
it's more like our friendship and like has helped that like has focused me, helps me be more like focused on what I need to do, my mindset, ignoring the shit that used to get in my head, and making me a more positive person.
For sure, for sure.
And
I
that's
mean,
the biggest thing for me.
for sure. I mean, like that, like literally that, like people overestimate what it like. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you need like a certain amount of genetic capability, and you need a certain amount of you know what I mean. But you need a certain amount of capability. But then, of course, in the head, it's all about doing it step by step and
Yeah.
not overcomplicating it. I mean, there's nothing that like there's no new drug, there's no new pill, there's nothing that's putting pros ahead of amateurs bar combining the basics and making it work. But it's a lot of
And
monotony.
it's basically done all year round.
Yeah,
It's great. Everyone can do a 12-week prep and be like motivated for it.
yeah,
It's when you're 6 months into an off season, you're not looking your best. You're forcing food down, and like you're just having to do the same shit every day.
yeah. I mean,
That's
you got,
people's struggle.
you got pretty heavy, man. I mean, what was your how heavy did you get at the peak off season before you started cutting?
This year, 265.
Oh shit. Yeah. I mean, walking around with that, like, but that's the thing. You have a bigger frame anyway. Do you think you'd ever jump into open class, or do you think you want to? You think you
I
want to
get
be
asked a
class?
lot. I do get asked this a lot, and it's like,
Yeah.
don't. I would love to. I would love to do open bodybuilding,
Yeah.
but I just don't think I have the time to get there. Like realistically, I was 265 this year at my biggest. Yeah, I was in decent condition at 265, but I need to be pushing 300
Yeah.
at my height to be an open. Like if
Yeah.
you look at like I think I'm similar in height to Antoine Valiant.
Yeah.
He's 290 in condition.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
And he's all legs as well. Like he's just a freak. I mean, I used to follow him when he was like I mean, I'd follow him. I'd follow a few of the guys, obviously, but no, that really puts it in perspective. I mean, it's like because to the average person, to the average gym goer, the average amateur bodybuilder, they'd look at you, um, and they like if I didn't know what I know, I would go, yeah, no, he's an open bodybuilder. But then you see a tall open bodybuilder, and you're kind of like, okay, yeah, that's a different game. That's like that's a different game. I mean. I've seen Kai Green in person. I saw him after he came second to Phil in 2012. And that is still the most surreal thing I've seen in my life. Just the amount of mass, the amount of just muscle. And he's 5'7" or 8", so he's not tall, but he was like 300 pounds. And I'm just like, fuck.
Do you know what, man? I just don't even know if I want to get that to the not for the look wise, for the comfort wise. And at 265 this year, like Becky had to help me put my socks on, you know. So, and I was like out of breath all the time, and I wasn't a fat 265 either. I was in thick at 265.
Yeah.
You know, and I think, okay, obviously it comes like, because when I look back the year before, the heaviest I got to was 244.
Yeah.
And that felt big. So obviously every time I do, you hold it better and you put on more. So I reckon next off season I'd probably push to 270, 275 quite comfortably.
For sure.
Without trying. Like now I'm sitting at like 240 to 245 pretty comfortably now in shape.
You have a nice little, but talking about, yeah, no, I get you 100%, because I think it's like your body, every time like you do a prep and every time you do a push, you're leaner at that weight as well. I mean, it's like your body recomposes, it kind of holds it, and then you don't have to, you do have to push it, but you don't have to push it to get to the same weight. I mean, that's like your homeostatic state then. But turning professional, man, you turned pro in the 2018 New Zealand Pro.
2018 New Zealand Pro.
Deadly, man. No, I remember that was my first exposure to you. So I remember seeing a few of the guys were posting, like Vinny and Shane Cullen, all the guys I'd be close with. They were sharing, posting, and I was like, okay, you came out, you turned pro, and then was it you competed in your first pro show, the same show? Was it you?
Yeah, literally that. And to be honest, I don't even consider it as a pro, like a pro debut or anything, because it was. Looking back, I kind of wish I hadn't have done it, because it was like very quick. I'd come off stage, had like literally fucking emotions all over the place. I'd called my wife, had like just chilling, and then I chilled, and they had said the way it was going to go was, they were like, okay, so they're going to do the open bodybuilding, like the pro for open, and then they'll start the 212 pro class and then classic pro class. So like, oh, you got about 2 hours. So I was like, I sat down, I was like chilling out, and I was like, I said to Sarah, who's with me, I was like, oh, I have to redo because a lot of people would hug me and stuff. I was like, oh, I'll have to redo my tan, I'll have to eat something and then pump up again. And next thing, about 5 minutes later, they're like, classic, line up. And I was like, oh shit. And I had a bit of fun with it, but
I mean,
I don't consider.
You played sixth or something, didn't you? Like you didn't.
No, like I did. I was in the second call out.
Okay.
I was probably. I don't even know where I placed, to be honest. Probably between like 9th and 12th.
Okay.
I wasn't in consideration because the standard was very good actually. You had the guy Apton won that show actually. Apton Shirkabi.
Yeah.
He qualified. He's very good. He came like third in the Arnold's, I think, this year, fourth.
Yeah.
A good Iranian guy.
Yeah.
Well, Iranian California. He lives in California.
Yeah, I mean the shape that some of the classic guys have is. I mean, I love the classic class. I mean, to be honest with you, if I'm too heavy now. But I mean, if I had gotten into bodybuilding a bit later, I probably would have steered towards classic a little bit. I just love the shape that some of the guys have. I mean, like, would you be friendly with the guys in the pro league? Like any of the classic guys you'd be against now? Would you?
Yeah, I chat to quite a few of the guys. I think who I chat to. Yeah, I definitely chat to some of them. I was actually only chatting with Terence Ruffin the other day, because we actually have ended up being with the same sponsor. Tough Raps. He just signed with Tough Raps as well, so I was chatting with him. Who else? Not many of the top guys. Can't think of any of them already.
I mean, Terence is a top guy. I mean, he's
ridiculous.
He's stupid. I look at him and I'm kind of like, He's under the weight limit too, I'm pretty sure. So it's like he's
Quite a
still.
bit, yeah.
I mean, for
Quite a
yourself,
bit. A lot of the guys are like, I'll probably still have about 6 or 7 pounds, I reckon, this year.
deadly. I mean, what's the weight cap for your height? Is it,
222.
okay, so you can be 101 kilos, which is
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, the only classic guys I've seen in person would be the guys here. So obviously I trained with Shane when he turned pro. I was going up to train with him every week. And he's nuts. But he was even saying to me he has 6 kilos to grow into. And then I know Vinny has a bit of room to grow into as well. But do you think you guys would you all pick the same show and go against each other and have a bit of an Irish showdown? Is that on?
I'm sure we will someday. I'd love to compete with, like, me and Shane are quite friendly. I'd love to compete with Shane someday. But I don't think we were down to do any of the same shows this year.
No. I mean,
I was
he's doing the New York Pro. I think he was. I think he's
yeah.
for it now. But it's like, and that's on 2 weeks before the Olympia now, which is nuts. So it's like, I mean, all the shows here have been, they're all within October now. So it's like the Spring Classic is the 3rd of October. It's like, yes, the third, like either the 18th or the 3rd of October. So I'm like,
Yeah.
with your you were prepping, weren't you, for the lockdown?
Yeah, I was looking to do the Toronto Pro. Would have been my first, which was June 13th. So I was going to do Toronto, Korea, and then potentially like Tampa.
Yeah.
But obviously Tampa hasn't been cancelled yet. But I've come away from prep. I'm just trying to hold it like 240. I've backed off on so the drug side of things, and backed off, like, upped food, like, to a decent, like, I'm probably back up to like 4,500 to 5,000 a day now and stuff.
Yeah.
Just kind of holding until we have some certainty, because for us, it's not necessarily if the shows will be on, it'll be if we're allowed travel in and out of Dubai, because it's going to be strict.
Yeah.
So we're more kind of looking at November, probably looking at those like Prague, Romania, and then some American shows around then.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely. I mean, like, I think there's 4 shows in the UK that were meant to be on in the UK. I'm not sure if there was classic bodybuilding in them, like the British Grand Prix and all that stuff. But I mean, that's another good shout to do. I mean, but that being said, do you think it's probably a blessing? I mean, it gives you a bit more time to improve, to grow. And
Yeah, because the one thing was I had like 8 weeks where I came down slowly. So I came down from 265 to like 240. I think the lowest I went to was 235.
yeah,
And it was a weight where I could see where my physique was at, like where I was going to be. And I need a bit more. I still want to add a bit more thickness to my back. So been doing a lot of heavy back stuff now again. So I definitely do think I can make some improvements between now and prep again. So.
Oh, for sure. I mean, like, the rebound phase is the most effective time to either turn into a sloppy mess or you kind of grow a bit of tissue. I mean, I gained 20. Oh God, I think I gained like 15 kilos, 20 kilos of just. It was pretty much just water. I didn't get fat. I just gained water, and then I lost it. But it was pure stupidity on my part. Now I can't imagine like being heavy and doing that. So like, obviously, I would imagine on your end you have to be a bit more, not careful, but just you don't want to be uncomfortable. Like, it's just simple.
No.
Like, just like, would you just rebound carefully? Would you just be a bit more clean, if that makes any sense?
To be honest, my food never goes that low. So, like last year, I think we never actually. I never knew how low my food went last year when I prepped for that New Zealand show, and it was only afterwards when a bikini pro from the UK had got some stick about her calories or something. So she sent around a message to a lot of the pros, like, how low have you gone with your calories? And it was Jamie went, he's like, we're probably not the two best to ask, because Jay calculated the lowest my food went to was like 2.9.
Okay, that's not actually that low. Like, I'm just
You
thinking,
know, Jay's like 3. Even now, like, man, I was dropping really steadily at like just shy of 4,000 there.
that's crazy.
So
But that being
uh,
said,
that's with
that,
that's with every Saturday being told to eat as much as I can.
okay. But that being said, the off season, to warrant that, food has to be that much higher in the off season anyway.
Oh yeah, I got to a point where the reason I started dieting, I wasn't going to start prep when I did, but the
Yeah,
reason we did was because I couldn't even eat one meal. I got to the point where my appetite was completely gone. I was eating like 7,500 calories a day
yeah.
with like 2 cheat meals a week, and my weight wasn't going up anymore. I'd hit 265 and it owned 265. It was just staying there,
Cool.
and I couldn't push anymore. I didn't feel good. Like my stomach wasn't feeling, and it was just like, right, now it's time. So I think it was like 2 weeks where I didn't follow a diet. I just kind of ate what I wanted, and then started prep.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, were you eating solid food or were you blending up meals and stuff? I mean,
I did start to blend my meals at the end. So I was
yeah,
trying. I had about 2 or 3 weeks where I was literally trying to force the food in.
yeah.
So I was like blending chicken and Rice Krispies.
Oh no,
Because
Jesus.
I had like 150 grams of Rice Krispies. My carbs were like 100 grams per meal.
Okay,
So I was like,
that's mental. I mean, like I tell people this all the time, like on my end, look, I can put away food, but when I try to gain weight, it's definitely like what you're saying there. It's like you struggle to get it in, but I just blend up three of my meals and just drink them. I think it's like a soup, but I mean, um,
I got to the point where even that was hard. It's like, mate, I've a solid appetite. I'll eat like, I don't have any issue getting in like now, like 5,000 a day. No
yeah,
issues. When you push to that level where your body's at the extreme of its like weight where it can be, and the food is that over time, like, because that food, I'm not talking that was for 2 or 3 weeks. That was for like
um,
2 or 3 months.
yeah, 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 yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I've been in off season since like what, for about 9 months, like consistent, like of that, like not deviated at all.
yeah. No, for sure. Because I mean, I had my first off season in 2018. And I remember I was working with um Christian McAlinden, who won the NABA Ireland there.
Yeah, I chat with Christian all the time. Actually, we
Christian,
chat all the time.
he's one of the guys, and he doesn't really have any self belief. So it's like me and a few of the other guys have to keep telling him, I think he'll turn pro now. I think next time he competes, he'll turn professional. He's a big guy. He's so lean, and he's improving every single time. I think he could be. He's only a little bit taller than me. I think he's like 5'7", whereas I'm five
Yeah,
five. So I mean, he could be a two.
I think as well now with Patrick, it'll take him to that next.
Oh man,
Christian's very much been stagnant the last like 2 or 3 years
yeah,
because I think he's been afraid to push.
yeah,
Like he always kept his condition really good, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. Like he stayed the same.
yeah,
Like, but and that same was very good. Like Christian in his off season would look crazy. Christian on
yeah,
stage would look crazy, but he now needs to get someone to like just push him out of his boundaries a little bit, and
yeah.
Patrick will do that. So I talked to Christian just yesterday, I think, and he was saying
Oh, cool.
he is
He's only
being
27.
pushed.
He's only 27.
Yeah,
So I'm like, yeah, he has a lot of time. But I remember like because he would be like there's obviously a few deadly Irish prospects now coming up, but I mean they're either like myself, they're born elsewhere. So it's nice to see like yourself, Christian, Vinny, like Irish bred and born guys who are, they have the potential to do some damage. But do you
yeah.
when you broke into like the pro league, I know like did you just feel a sense of relief? Was it just, it's fun? Or
No, man. To be honest, like I didn't even go into that show trying to beat turning pro.
okay, deadly. It was just
Man,
unexpected.
that's the extent of it is nobody knew who the fuck I was because I was a nobody.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
um, no ambitions. Like I had no like ambitions of turning pro at that show. Really, I'd be lying if I said it hadn't crossed my mind because people had been saying it. And I'd got quite a lot of attention from like check-in photos that were coming up to the show from like Bodybuilding Without Borders and stuff like that, and people talked. But Jamie was just like to me, just think about tomorrow. He's like, you just want to be fucking better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like I even remember, like, and he kept me like he never said to me, "You look good," ever. And I remember even like I think I was about 2 weeks out. Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks out from New Zealand, because New Zealand actually wasn't supposed to be the show I was doing. I was actually prepping for Ireland.
Okay.
And we decided to do New Zealand because I got ready very quickly. I nearly actually went to Nepal with Jamie the morning of that show. The morning he flew, I was like, it was Ricardo Carrera looked at me. He was like, you could do that show too. He was like, you could turn pro there. But I was like, no. It was Jamie said to me, he said, you said to me you want to look your very best on stage this year because I looked shit the year before. Right. And I was like, yeah. You said, so it's not about turning pro, it's about you looking your best. And there was a day where Becky hadn't seen me pose for a while, and she looked at me when I was doing posing practice, and Jay was there, and she was like, she said to Jay afterwards, she was like, "Holy shit, Darren looks crazy," and Jay was like, "No, he looks okay."
He looks okay.
And mate, it was probably the best thing ever because he just kept me like grounded. Yeah. And the first time he ever went to me, he went like, "Fuck," was when I came off stage in New Zealand. And I was like, I wasn't happy because I'd been rushed. The show was delayed and they told us it was like going to be 2 hours. So I was just about to have like a meal. Yeah. And they were like, right, you're up. So I rushed out on stage and I didn't feel like I looked my best. And I thought there was 2 of the guys in my class who were actually very good. And Ethan, who I actually am friendly with now, had gone on to win. He went on to win the Arnolds the week later.
Yeah.
And I thought he looked very good. He was next to me. And I was like, fuck. When I came off stage, I was like, I don't know. And Jay was just like, nah. He's like, you fucking smoked them. He's like, you're turning pro today easily. But like, so that was, when he said that to me, I was like, okay.
But that's a good approach. That's a very good approach to have as a coach. I mean, you don't need to, like, I'm not saying, like, put them down, but definitely keep your client on the level playing field. Don't blow smoke up. And that way, when you do tell them something good, they tend to take it on board a little bit more and then appreciate it.
I see it so much, man. People posting about like road to pro, gonna get my pro cards. It's like, mate, if you're putting all your eggs in that basket's out of your control. And we've all seen shows where someone who should have won hasn't won. So it's not any, you shouldn't even be considering it. Just be like, I'm going to be so good. I'm going to be my very best. And then if you win, you win. If you don't, you're not going to be like, that's not down to you. You know? It's like doing the lotto and being like, I'm going to fucking win $1 million tomorrow. It's totally out of your control.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely, man. So, no, I agree with you 100%.
So,
you're dating, you're married now. You're married to a professional as well. What's that like? 2 professionals?
She's not pro yet. But she's been very close a few times. She's been second at 2 amateur Olympias.
Okay.
Yeah, and second in muscle contest Ireland.
I remember.
She's been very, very close, and it's one of those ones. It's a matter of time, you know.
Sure. So, I mean, the irony being, if that was the case, before the split in the amateur and pro league, that would have been given a pro card. I mean, because I know if you could, that would have 2 second place finishes abroad, you know, pro card. But what category? Like, is it bigger? Deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like
the last one, the amateur Olympia Spain, man. That was just like, it was one of those ones, like, and it was even like one of the judges said to me afterwards was the girl who was in her class was like, had been world champion, a couple of them had won the Spanish overall. She was like phenomenal. Like, she could have gone into any pro show and won a pro show. She was ridiculous.
Good.
So she beat Becky in her class, and then she went on to win the overall. But the 2 girls who came got second and third in the overall, he was like, Becky would have beaten. So it was like, ugh.
Yeah, man, no, I know. I know, no, I know what that's like because I have a couple of friends, and I had one friend, and the first year that the pro qualifiers all came out, um, Isaac is his name, phenomenal, like phenomenal physique. He went to turn pro 4 times in classic, and each time the guy who beat him turned pro. So it was like he was right on that cusp of turning
Yeah,
pro. So I can only imagine. Like, look, I've never done it, but no, that's crazy. But that, like, it's only a matter of time. But that being said,
yeah.
like, do you think, like, obviously with classic and bodybuilding and everything, like, you have a couple of sponsors and stuff like that. Do you think that just that was how did you acquire those sponsors? Was it just through the social media side of things, or
Um, to be honest, man, I've been in the right place at the right time. I've made some really good connections with in the industry. Like my current sponsor, I'm with Project AD, and I've known Joe for years. Joe has been a friend of mine for a good long time,
cool?
and he's been asking me to come on board with them for a while. And things just fell into place this year that yeah, I did.
Yeah, is
Uh,
that the same company that Brad Rowe is with?
yeah, same one.
Yeah, I know it well. I know it.
Top like their products I all used. I used all of AD stuff for a long time.
Cool.
Always have. Um, I actually met Joe for the very first time at the original Irish Muscle Power that was in Northern Ireland. The very
Yeah,
first one run by Northern Ireland Supplements. I was there with BSN at the time, and that was one of his first things he ever did with Project AD.
cool.
He had like he had like a raging full, a Minotaur,
Yeah,
I think like Ravenous. They're like his only 3 products then.
yeah. I mean, I was always the thing I like about Project AD is they have a whole line of um health supplements as well for your, like, for the
Yeah,
kidneys and liver and heart and all that. And I mean, in professional bodybuilding and bodybuilding as we do, I mean, like, the importance of taking care of yourself as well as pushing it. A lot of guys don't. I mean, I know so many bodybuilders, and I won't name names, but I know so many that don't look at the basic, things you should be doing. Do you feel like being on top of your bloods, being on top of everything, do you think that's also enabled you to be able to push as you have pushed? Because when everything's in check, you function better. Or
100%. Like I remember my first year in Dubai, and I wasn't very healthy. I know looking back, like I wasn't healthy,
okay,
and my sleep was terrible. Obviously, my mental health was very bad.
yeah,
And one of the things that has been on point the last 2 years is like I get my blood work done regularly. I take like every health supplement under the sun. I manage everything like that. I manage my sleep. I look at my recovery. I look, and I make sure that I'm just in a good place to do everything. And I've no doubt that it's made a huge difference. 100%.
yeah. I mean, I remember, especially on the mental side of things, though. I mean, taking certain things like that can definitely impact the way your brain and your mentality functions, especially when you taper off or you come off certain things. You can spiral down. I mean, I've been there,
Yeah.
and I think when you're working with somebody who knows how to undertake certain things like that, I mean, that's just it's needed. I mean, do you feel working with Jamie and stuff like that, that the mental side of things are just better? Do you think it's just been kind of uphill from that point?
Yeah, 100%. Like more so because Jamie's just changed the way I look at things, my outset on like how I approach my days, like what I concern myself with and things like that. That I don't let negative in anymore. I just focus on what needs to be done and focus on the positives.
Deadly, man. Deadly. I
Uh,
mean, you're in such a good spot. I mean, like, where are you training out of? Is there a couple of gyms you'd be out of now, or do you focus on the one in Dubai?
no, so before obviously lockdown and everything, me and Jamie were both out of Oxygen in Abu Dhabi, so it's
Oh,
an
cool.
hour away from us here, but it's obviously like it's the best gym in the world. So,
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean,
so
that's like, what's it like being part of the Oxygen crew? I mean, do you And walk me through it, because it's completely foreign to me.
It's another level, man. It's nuts. Like some people, I remember the first few times I put videos of my training up there. People are, what? There's no music there. Like, there's no music inside the gym. There's no women allowed inside the gym.
Okay.
And it's just literally you're there to work, you know. And we're very fortunate that we have one of the oxygen trainers who actually trains us during our sessions. And mate, they just kill you. They just kill you. Like, it's another level. Like, people have seen like me and Jay training, and they're like, "Oh, you guys do a lot of volume."
Yeah.
This is another. It's to another level. Like, it's just like, if you can do it, they make you do more. You know, so you'll do like a general say they get you on the leg press. You'll do like quick warm up set, then they'll throw on a load of plates, and they'll be like 20 reps. And you're like, that's a heavy 20 now. It's like, then you'll do the 20, then they'll throw like 4 more plates aside. Yeah. They'll be like 15 reps. Then they'll throw like 4 more plates on, 12 reps. And you're like, at this point, you're going, I feel like 4 reps here is hard. And you'd be like 12. And then they'll be like, right, more plates. Until like the machine can't have any more plates, and they're stacking it up on top of it. And they're like, right, 10 reps. And then you're like fucking struggling to do 2 or 3. And then they just go, right, more weight, drop set. So you do like 5 sets that are like, and that's it for every machine. Like, it's crazy. But the equipment you have there is just another level, man. It's just like, they have everything. Like, I think there was like 30-something bicep machines alone.
Okay. So it's probably coming like going backwards when you come back here. I mean, like we do some good gyms, but not like that. I mean, that's a whole.
There's no gyms like this anywhere in the world. Like, oxygen's just.
I mean, and then like, but would the way they train you, like, would that have been your training style anyway? Would you have been a volume guy, or
yeah? We train volume. Like 2 sessions a day, generally probably 7 to 10 exercises in each session. And we have 4 to 5 working sets in each exercise. I've done during off season near the end. I was speaking with Jordan a bit, and I did try doing some of JP's training. Me and Jamie weren't training together at the time because I was traveling and stuff, and Jay wasn't training as consistently, so he was taking a bit of a break. So I was like, "Oh, listen, now's a good time. I'll try and get strong, and I'll try working on with Jordan stuff." But it just I liked it, but it just wasn't for me. Doing one top set and stuff isn't, and it's not like, it's just like for some things I liked it on legs, but then when I was doing like back, I felt like I was still warming up.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like more.
I like, my take on it, man. I think like, it depends on, for me anyway, it depends on the body part. So for legs, I will do higher volume. And then for upper body, I'll do the higher intensity stuff, like 40 minutes in and out. But that being said, I may have to change it because I'm bottom heavy now. So it's like, I think it literally depends on what suits yourself. I mean, biomechanically as well. Like, I mean, I think like Jordan's a freak. I mean, but then you have to look at it. The guy hurts himself and he injures himself and he's missing a lot. So it's like, he's huge. He's a freak. Like, but, you know, there's certain things as well. But with the high volume. No, carry on.
I just think people are getting so caught up in like Jordan's methods, and I'm like, I talked about this recently because I had lots of people messaging me, asking me my setup for 2-a-days and stuff, and I'm like, listen, it's not for everyone. First, I said, you got to learn the fundamentals first. Do the very basics. Get yourself into a position where you can learn. I said it's the same with Jordan. You know, some fucking 18-year-old trying to train like Jordan. You're not Jordan, man. Jordan's put in the hard work for years. He's got very fucking strong. That when he does one set, that weight he's doing for one set is enough. Like, earn the fucking right to train the way your idols train. Don't just think you can jump in and train that way. You know, it's the same the way we train 2-a-days. Man, it's a lot of volume, and there's other people have come and tried. Like Jace won't take any offense to this. Jace Long, one of the guys from the UK, the Jamie coaches, he came out and stayed here for a while, and he jumped in. I think the first week he tried, like, he lasted about 3 days, and he was fucked. You know, because it's a lot, you know, and it's not like we're doing 4 or 5 sets and everything, and it's like lightweight. Like, it's still as heavy as any of what people are doing. Like,
yeah,
you know, Jay, for instance, like, Jay's a bit stronger than me. Like, when I'll do, like, I'll work up to maybe a 5-plate like squat or something.
Yeah.
There was one time he worked up to a 7-plate squat drop set.
Yeah.
That was like 6 or 7 reps on 7 plates, 6 or 7 reps on 6, and it was 1 plate off of a time until he was on 1 plate. You know,
Crazy.
That's most people. You know, when most people are doing like 3-4 reps, and he's doing like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, my whole mentality, like, people don't understand, like, volume training. It's look, it's about going. It's a light enough weight that you're able to go beyond failure. It's not so heavy like you stop at 6 or 8. It's heavy that you can go to like 12, 15, 20 reps, but at those, like, the last 10 reps of that set, you're pushing it. Like, it's not light.
But we're doing 4 or 5 working sets,
Yeah.
and our last drop set will be like the other day, the T-bar row with like 9 plates on it.
Yeah.
You know, we're still going to a weight where most people are doing 1 working set of.
For sure. I mean, like, it's literally adaptability. I mean, would those 2-a-days now, would it be like a smaller body part and then a bigger body part in the evening, or how would you do it?
No, so it's I'll run you through the split at the moment is day 1 back in the morning, arms in the evening. Day 2 chest in the morning, delts in the evening. Yeah. Day 3 quads in the morning, hamstrings in the evening, and then repeat.
Okay, yeah, no, that's similar. I used to do that stuff. I did it during prep. I felt hitting everything twice a week, like, the first week kills you, but then the second and third week, once you get not used to it, but the progression it's a lot nicer than doing, like, you know, 5 days, you know, the bro split, as it's called. But
yeah.
Do you think, like, with the lockdown and everything, you have a home gym set up and everything, like, you're fairly lucky in that regard. Do you have to give that back, or is that yours now? Or
it's ours. We bought it.
Really, man. yeah, savage. No, like, do you think in Dubai it's just do you think where you are, it's kind of enabled you to set it all up and get into a position where you can still bodybuild? Like, it's a good environment for it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's we've created an environment for ourselves that allows us to do what we need to do. You know.
Yeah.
You know, we're lucky to, like, when this lockdown started, we still had, because where we are, Dubai had closed gyms, and Abu Dhabi, where oxygen was still open.
Okay.
So we were still able to go down, but we knew, we were like, okay, it's not going to be long until they shut everything.
Yeah.
So we knew, it's actually a connection of mine, a guy I used to know here. He owns Garner Fitness Supplies, or a supply company. So we just contacted him. We're like, listen, what you have? And he sent us through. We're like, listen, we'll take it. And he was like, next day, delivered it, set it all up here. And then I think for about a week or 2 weeks, we just had the multi-gym with the Smith, the hat, and all that on it. And we're like, okay, this is going to go on longer than we thought. So we messaged him. We're like, right, we need a leg press and a hack squat.
Yeah.
So I'm in the living room now as well.
It looks heavy duty. Like, I love that. Like, I mean, I remember I'm friends with a few guys who own their own gyms and stuff. Like, I'd be, like, fairly good friends with, like, there's a chain here called Gold Gym. There's, like, it's a fairly good gym. You know, there's one in Dublin, one in Ashburn. I asked your man who owns that chain, because we go back. I was like, hey, can I borrow like 8 plates and a bar, and I'd be happy with that? And he's like, yeah, you're about a month late to the party. And I was like, okay, fair enough, I'll just leave it. But, like, I mean, over here, it's like people are selling plates for like a 20 kilo Ivanko plate would be, oh, like 90 quid. People are charging stupid money for it. So it's like, I'm of the opinion if you're able to get something, I think the people who got stuff early are the lucky ones. I mean, I'm just using bands, and I'm like, you know what? It's enough to maintain what I have. I'm not going to grow,
Yeah.
but just for the mental side of it too. I mean, just doing.
Just doing something. Man, I said this to Becky just the other day. I was like, fuck it, I don't know what I'd do if I couldn't train now. Like I said, I could do it for a few weeks, but if it got to this point now, we've been like, what, 6 weeks training out of our house, like at home. But you know what? Now we're even like, Becky's like, she enjoys training at home. We're like, right. We currently live in like a big, like it's a large 2-bedroom apartment.
Cool.
We have a big living space and a spare bedroom and stuff. And we're like, but our lease on this place is up in August. We're like, let's. We're actually looking at a new development, and like we're looking at like a 3-bedroom villa with a big garage. And I think what we're going to do is actually kit out a proper gym.
For sure. Would that be in Dubai as well? Or
yeah, it's about 10 minutes away from where we are now. Because Becky likes it, and I'm like, okay, well, it means like that maybe, you know, off-season stuff, I can just travel to Oxygen like 2 or 3 times a week and do my second session home. And, you know, all you need is like, if I get like cable machine, leg press, hack squat, lat pull down, like get about 12 pieces of kit.
Yeah.
Put that in there.
No, savage. Because I see like some of the pros like yourself and obviously Jamie, and then like Sergio and like Aaron Politis and all the guys.
Yeah.
Like they have a bloody, like, it's a fully, like, I love looking at that kind of stuff. And like once the drive in Ireland, like the current way it's going, it's at the moment we can go up to 5 kilometers. Now I have friends who have their own gyms within 18 kilometers. So I'm like, its next step is we'll be allowed to drive within 18, 20 kilometers within a month. So I'm like, grand, once that's sorted, I can just drive like to my friend's gym and train with him at his gym.
Yeah.
But do you think like where we're like, it's a mad situation we're all in? I mean, it's like, do you have any advice for people just get motivated or whatever? Like, because I've been telling people this, there's nothing we can do. You can only see the plus. Like the benefits are you're gonna be fresh. Everybody's in the same boat. And like there's no shows for us to do anyway. So it's like at the end of the day, it's just about being positive.
Yeah, like I've been saying to all my clients, and I had to say it again today, like reiterate this thing, because they released this fucking statement here all over social media. It was like a guideline set to reopening gyms in Dubai.
Yeah.
And it was done by reps, which are the certification of trainers here. So I'm like, this thing it's not even been put in front of the government, but it's like this document on how gyms need to, so there's no date on when gyms are reopening, but everyone's sharing it. They're going, oh, the gyms are going to be reopening, they're going to be reopening. I'm like, this hasn't even done in front of the government yet. And it's no different to if I had just put together a document and said, oh, this is how they should reopen. So they're all getting excited. I'm like, just carry on with what you're doing now. Like, this is the normal.
Yeah.
Never knew any different.
For sure.
So it's like, the way I put it the first time was, imagine an animal in the zoo. They don't know the wildlife, but they're fucking happy.
Yeah.
So just treat this as the normal. What you have is what you got, and use it to the maximum capability, and don't even consider anything else. And when it does come about, fucking great. It's a bonus. You can do more. But right now, just do what you can with what you have, and just treat that as the normal. Because if you keep thinking of, this is all I have, I can't do this, I can't do that, you're just going to be fucking depressed and go nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be friends with a few of the old school guys here, and it's like Niall Kinsella being one of them. Like me and him, he'd be helping me going forward, just with training and like just a second eye. I like doing my own thing, but like even with himself, it's like we joke about it, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, I mean, don't stop eating. Like eat a little bit less if your activity level is less. But like, I mean, just control what we can, which is our diet. We can control our diet. We can control what we're allowed to do within our confines. But in Ireland, it's actually not that bad compared to other places. It really isn't. I mean, are you allowed out of your apartment? I mean, how do you get your groceries and
Yeah, we
stuff?
are now. Literally only from since last week, we had a month where we weren't allowed leave. You had to go online and apply for a permit to go to the shops, and you're only
Oh,
allowed one every 3 days. But to be honest, man, even I said this hasn't affected me one bit.
yeah.
I'm like, I work from home. Me and Becky are pretty self-secluded with like Jay and Steph live in our building, so they
Cool.
have the same apartment 4 floors up,
Cool.
and we hang out with each other all the time, and that's it. We don't deviate from that.
Yeah.
So we work from home. Yeah, we can't go to the gym, but we brought the gym to my place, so the gym's in my
Yeah.
living room. So
Yeah.
me and Jay are still training twice a day, every day. You know,
Yeah.
we're still doing what we need to do. And if I'm being honest, I said the other day, I'm like, I've actually come out of this like thinking it's been a blessing because one, because I'm not traveling as much, I've got a bit more time here. I've signed up to do some courses, so I'm doing some more stuff. I'm working with the muscle mentors to do like their exercise mechanics and just to refresh things. I usually every year I do some sort of like. Last year I attended Ben Pakulski's muscle camp. Year before I did like a thing with Patrick Tour. I like doing more,
Oh, for sure.
so I've done that. And the other thing for me, man, is I'm so like I've had a lot of back issues and stuff, so I haven't squatted in a long time.
It was
I
about
haven't done like rows in a long time, deadlifts, RDLs. In the last couple of weeks, I've been working those back up to like. Today I did a 200 kilo squat again for the first time in about 2 years.
average.
You know,
So, feels
I've
good,
been
doesn't
doing RDLs, been T-bar rowing, so I'm like, fuck, brilliant. I'm actually getting back to being able to do the basics, which I haven't been able to do, and I've no doubt they're going to benefit me.
it?
So
Sure. I mean, I love squatting, man. I like if I couldn't squat, it's like the one thing I love to do because, but I've never been injured. I've never like had any back issues really. Bar. How did you do your back? Was it just anything in the gym or was it outside?
I've always had. I started getting lower back pain when I squatted and doing hack squat and stuff like that about probably like 2 years ago nearly now. And I was always having issues, so I just started removing those exercises. But then at Christmas, um, I hadn't deadlifted in a long time. And when I started working with JP, he wanted me deadlifting again, so I eased back. So I remember it was like a heavy set of 6 to 8, then followed by like a 15 rep set. So the first week I did like 200 kilo, nothing crazy. And then the second week, 240. So I did 200 for 6. The second rotation, I did 240 for 8. And then this is my third rotation where I actually was it was Christmas. I was back in the UK and I was in MJ's gym with JP and Corinne and Joe Ballinger.
I know,
And I
Joe.
did like 250 and I was like, fuck, this feels easy. So I put 270 on it. And I was 270 still felt easy. I came up, flew up, no problem. I think I was on rep 6 and I came up and everyone heard it. There was just a pop. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I dropped the bar. And I didn't have any pain. But I
Yeah.
was like, I looked and I could see by their faces. And I was like, oh, shit. And I was like, I sat down and I was like, I feel okay.
Yeah.
And I started having pins and needles in my hands
Yeah.
and like weird feeling down my arms. And I was like, I sat for a few minutes. I was like, don't think I'll do any more deadlifts. So I carried on with the rest of the workout doing like seated row stuff.
Okay.
But by the end of the workout, man, I sat down at 8 and I got up to go get into the car with Becky. I couldn't get into the car. I couldn't bend. I couldn't shift my hips forward or back. I then slipped my L4, L5 disc.
Oh,
And
man.
then since then, I found I did some nerve damage and stuff as well. But luckily, it's not really hindering me now anymore. I think I'm
Yeah.
back to normal. I won't be doing any heavy deadlifts.
No, I mean, like I was just about to say, like, I like the way you went, like, oh, yeah, no, 200 is a light starting weight. Like, that's a light warm up, you know? Like, because I'm so used to seeing guys, like, they'd work with I would say max, bar the exceptions, like, oh God, around 240, 250. That would be their working sets. I mean, you get the standouts here, and they would be doing like 300 or something. But do you find that training with like higher level people has just it's made your baseline training, just your standard of training is probably a lot higher now than it was when you were an amateur?
Yeah, yeah. Like, but I've always been strong, especially on legs. I've
Okay.
always been like even doing 200 kilo today for me as a squat isn't hard on my legs, and it was like it's still for me. It's a long way off what I used to do. I used to do 260 for reps,
Nice. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. No,
and that was like 4 or 5 years ago.
yeah.
And it shows in like other exercises I do. Like I'll max out any leg press, hack squat. I've done like 9, 10 plates on. All those other ones I'm strong on, and I'm strong on pull movements.
Yeah.
But I don't ever think I'm strong because I train with Jamie, who's a freak. you know, uh,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
always that bit stronger than me, and it's only when other people train and I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, I always watch people train, and like, I've got to the point now, um, I refuse to train with certain people just based on you're not going to get a good workout in. I'd rather train on my own or train with somebody better than me. And you're in that lucky position where I wouldn't call it lucky, sorry. I'd call it you're taking advantage of the fact that you're surrounded by such positivity, and it's like it enables you to better yourself for sure. But do you think
Definitely.
for sure, yeah. No, but that being said, man, I have a couple of questions. Did you get any questions yourself, or will we just blast the ones out I have?
No, go yours.
Deadly, man. So this is from let me just check. Dara Hamill he's 21, he's from Maynooth. And he has two questions. So I said, were you concerned about the weighing scales when you were bulking? That's one of them.
Not now. Now I have no issues with weight. If anything, yeah, I look at it. If it's not going up quick enough when I'm bulking, not quick enough, but I'm concerned if I see a dramatic drop or a dramatic increase.
Okay.
If I want it to be steady or hold, steady or hold. If something really fluctuates, then I'm like, okay, there's something there that I need to look at, and then I'll probably have a look at things and just check maybe 2 days later again just to see that if it was just a fluctuation of water or something. But I'm looking at it more of a case of a health standpoint. If there's a dramatic jump or drop and everything has been on point, there's probably something else going on.
Yeah, no, that ties directly into the next question. Anyway, it was like literally during your off season, how did you know when it was time to increase your calories again? And that's probably what you just said there. It's like it just depends on everything, like staying steady or not. And do you find now when you were prepping yourself, like did your metabolism stay at a really high level after you finished your prep, or did it kind of taper back down? Like, how did you cope with that? Because I know some people burn up, and then some people either burn up or they will gain a huge amount of weight. Like, what did you do to just after your shows? What did you do?
So I get it's slightly different for me because after I did New Zealand, I had planned on doing Toronto
Yeah.
like 16 weeks later. So the idea was to get my weight back up and into a place where from about 6, 8 weeks out, I'd diet again. But
Yeah.
I physically couldn't eat enough to keep my weight going up. I remember straight away from the next day after the show, we put my food, like obviously I had a meal or two off plan.
Yeah.
We put my food up by about 2,000 calories.
Yeah.
And literally, I checked in a week later, I was like, same weight, just fuller.
mad.
So I was like, okay, eat more. And Jay kept trying to eat again. And and essentially that's why I ended up not continuing with the prep, because I got about 6 weeks later. Okay, at the same time though, we had traveled to the UK and we were doing a bit of like a tour. We were living out of a car, me and Jay, and driving around. We were living at hotels, so our activity was huge.
Yeah.
And I was still very lean. Like, so I did that. I did that Flex magazine shoot 5 weeks after turning pro,
Oh,
and I think I was 10 pounds heavier, but like still in stage shit. Like, it was probably the best look I had. I was a lot fuller, and I burnt out. Then I just literally I was like to Jay, I was like, fuck, I need a break now. I just can't train. I can't. So I took a few weeks off.
savage.
But no, I was definitely the one where it was like I couldn't eat enough to keep the weight on.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. See, I'd be the opposite, man. I gain a fuck ton when I gain like when I'm in prep. It's no, I'd be the opposite. I like when I start pushing my food, my weight just skyrockets until it reaches that off season, and I'm kind of the opinion, um, because I'm not a tall guy. I mean, like I tell people it differs from person to person, but I've a train of thought like you can either rebound and you can like after 8 weeks, the two if you get two guys and one guy does a clean rebound and then one guy just goes straight into his off season, the two guys a lot of the time are going to be the same stage after 8 weeks anyway. So I tell people
Yeah,
if you're comfortable with gaining a lot of weight quickly, go ahead because like you're just going to get into that state of off season anyway. But if you're in a state where you get unbearable lower back pumps or water retention or whatever, then 100% take care of it a little bit more. But do you find when you're coaching your clients, it just differs from person to person like that? Like it's just how they work?
yeah. A lot of it, to be honest, it comes down more to their kind of mentality, how they feel about themselves. Because you'll get guys who are scared of getting fat after the show. So you kind of
Yeah,
have to manage it a little more. You have
yeah,
other guys who are like, fuck, I just want to eat and I want to get big. You're like, okay, they're actually the ones you kind of generally, I actually have to keep them a bit more under control.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's just person to person and how bodies respond, you know,
yeah,
what they want to do within their life as well. Some guys might be just like, listen, I want to take a week off the gym and I just want to eat what I want. And you got to respect that too,
yeah,
because at the end of the day, you got to look at it as a long-term thing. And if that 1 week off and just chilling and not being on it will allow them to then get back on it, then sweet.
No, I remember Luke Sando said one thing, and he said he's 80% prep mode and then 20% off prep mode when he's in the off season. Like I think, I think to get somebody, you can't expect somebody who's not like you're gonna get those exceptions that just love being a prep all the time and stuff, but especially during the off season, you have and it's important to give people the breaks. I tell the client, like if I had a client and he wanted to take 2 weeks off the gym after the show, 100% go and do it. Just eat 4 or 5 meals a day, whatever. Just it's all about your mental state as well. But that being said, man, like we're coming up on it's close to an hour and a half now. So I'll just say, where can people find you, and what you're mainly like? Where can people find you for coaching? What handles do you have in this? Or any sponsors that you want me to tag when I'm doing this?
Oh, yeah. So obviously the easiest way to find me is on Instagram. I do everything through that. So it's just my name, Darren Farrell _IFBB Pro. And you can find links to my coaching inquiries there in there. There's like a link to inquire about coaching. I'd just like to thank my sponsors. My main sponsors are Project AD and Tough Wraps. So they're the two that look after me.
Cool, man. Like how many clients would you be pushing now? Like I know with the online clients, it's definitely It definitely allows you more maneuverability in terms of where you're working from. But do you think, like, did you get to a point where you had to cut back on clients at all, or do you just love it? Like,
I do. There's you. If someone follows me regularly on Instagram, you'll see there's periods where I don't promote coaching. I'll go maybe a week or two where I don't put it up. That's generally where I'm quite happy with my numbers, or I'm quite busy with new signups, so I don't. So if like this week I get 5 or 6 new signups, I'll tend not to push for much next week because I'll be like, okay, want to just make sure they're set up, they're okay. I'll always have like 60, 70 people.
nice. Nice. Yeah.
But you got to remember then that like there's some of those that are just like easy maintenance, like they're pushing. It's like you chat to them once a week. Then there's others. It's client to client, man, because there's other clients that I have to talk to daily, a little more work. I have quite a lot of guys. Hopefully, will be competing in this first round of shows. I've got 4 guys who I'm very hopeful could get pro cards this year. 4 very, very good guys.
Deadly, man. Now, do you have any? I noticed you have a few clients in Ireland as well. I mean, have you? Do you have any guys who were going to be competing or anything like that?
Yeah, I had guy from Derry, Owen,
Cool.
men's physique guy.
Cool.
He was going to be very competitive. He was supposed to do 2 bros and muscle contest, but unfortunately they both got cancelled. And he definitely would have been very competitive.
Cool.
I have another men's physique guy now up in Northern Ireland as well, who's he can turn pro easily. He's already won international shows. Yeah, he missed out last year. He won his class, and he missed out in the overall in Italy. To the guy who went on and won the overall and won the pro show that night as well. So,
okay. Yeah. But that's just the luck of the draw, man. But look, thank you very much for coming on and taking time out of your day to record this. I will link it to you when it's done. It'll probably be up later on tonight or tomorrow anyway. But anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching, Darren's going to make a splash. I have faith. I think the next time you compete, like with the improvements that you've put on, like I'd say, like this is just completely just my opinion now. I'd say top 5 easily. There's not a lot of classic guys that are your height and carry the size that you do in the off season. So I definitely think that will carry over to the stage. I mean, the only tall guys that I would know would be like obviously Chris Bumstead, and you know you have Henry Pierre, and you have but those are guys who used to compete. Henry was an open guy.
Well, that's it, man. When you start looking at the guys who are over 5'10" in classic, you're talking you'd want to be a decent national level heavyweight super.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, look. Sure, look, we'll see what happens, man. And look, best of luck. And thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, man.
Look, once this is done, once this quarantine is done and I'm fully gone bodybuilding, I won't be stepping on stage until 2021 anyway. I just want to get a national title and then hopefully go and see what happens with the UK shows. I want to do all the 2 bros because I have friends over there, so it'll be easy enough for me to stay. But no, I'll have to bloody make a trip over to Dubai or something. Get my ass kicked. But deadly, man. And look, best of luck. Have a good day. And
you too, man.
that's us done.
Cheers, buddy.